This presentation, well, it's a story actually. It's a story of a story, but it's something that we can learn something from. And it starts with Pixar Animation Studios in California. They're the studio that brought us Up, Cars, Incredibles, Wall-E, so on and so forth. But their very first film that they made was Toy Story. And it was the first animated movie made on a computer as opposed to hand drawn. And it was a huge success. And a week afterwards, Steve Jobs, who owned Pixar, filed for the company to go public, and it was the biggest IPO of the year. Then they made The Bug's Life, and then came Toy Story 2, the sequel. And that sequels is always a troubling one because can you duplicate that recipe of the first one? Will it be as good, etc., etc.? And it was troubled from the start because they'd written a whole story, and then they realized, oh, it's terrible. We don't want to do this, and so they revamped the whole thing. And they were a good 2 years into production of this new script and new story when disaster struck. And it struck in the form of this piece of code or this command. And Pixar used to store their movies on Unix and Linux computers. And this command here, what it does is it deletes everything as quickly as possible. And somehow, accidentally, someone had put in this command into the Toy Story 2 drives. And so slowly things started to disappear. First Woody's hat disappears, then his boots, then he disappears completely, and then Buzz Lightyear disappears, Mr. Potato, and all the characters slowly start disappearing. So someone gets to the phone, or the director, and says, shut down the master computer. And the other guy obviously says, why? And he goes, just shut it down. And so eventually he shuts it down. But by then, 90% of everything is gone. The background, the lighting, the animations, everything is just gone. 90%. So what do? This is their film. They've got one film in the pipeline. This is their whole company is right here. And this film, and it's gone. So they get together and they have a big meeting and say, don't worry, relax. We've got a backup system. Just don't worry. So they go and they check their backup system, and the backup system's not working. Now they're panicking. Now what do? They've got nothing. They're sitting there just twiddling their thumbs. What are we going to do next? Eventually, someone raises their hand. One of the employees, she's a director as well, called Gallin, and she says, well, actually, I've been working from home recently because she's a new mother and she needs to be at home with her child. And this is back in the days when it's not normal to work from home. And she says, every week I back up the drives from the office and I take them home. So they quickly rush to her house, pick up her computer, bring it into the office, like that, and everything's there, and everything gets restored from her drive. Woody's back, his friends are back, everything is back. Happy days. So, what do we learn from this? And we see in their priority list looks something like this. 1, restore the film. 2, after they restore the film, they tried to fix the backup system. So if this happens again, they've actually got a backup system. And number 3, try and make it as difficult as possible. Try and put things in the way of that deletion command coming in and accidentally being used. But more importantly, and this is perhaps the crux of the matter, what they did not do is find out who put in that deletion command and punish them and blame them. It doesn't matter who took Woody's hat. It doesn't matter who took it, who put in that command. What matters is how they dealt with the situation once it occurred. And this way of thinking it's important, and it shows that they are trying to create an environment where people are comfortable with taking risks. And often people are scared to take risks that could propel them. They're scared to take it because of the fear of making mistakes. So if you're able to take away that fear, then people are much more likely to take risks, and they're much more likely to do the work that needs to be done without having to ask permission. And we see this from just what Gallin did, that she was a director, she was an important person, she had work to do. Rather than just taking loads of times off, she just worked home, took a copy of the drives, and just worked from home without even asking permission. And so, and I'll leave with this question. What if? What if we all lived in an environment where we felt truly comfortable to take